Rhythm is an insane and one of the best characters in the game. She has a really good active playstyle. She has really good movement. She's really good at AFK gameplay and grinding, and her rewards as you build her feel really, really great as a player. And so the more you invest in her supports, the better she will be. With Introns at Intron 0, she can't really do great and isn't really worth playing, to be honest. She doesn't feel good, and she can't use most of her kit except using her E to clear mobs. So if you want to do bossing, you can use Intron 0 for bossing, really. At Intron 2, this is where her potential skyrockets, and she reaches her true potential as her ability as an AoE wave clear monster goes with her electro charge spreading amongst enemies after defeating them, and it's completely insane. Intron 1 also helps with that, giving her the AoE to proc her passive, then her electro charge procs can happen. And at Intron 6, she's crazy and it literally doubles her damage, making her an insane DPS. Her passive, she can convert her sanity into electro energy, and mainly this resource, it's going to be consumed by your Q, building up as you consume sanity, and you're going to use that electro energy to boost your E skill, and we'll get into our E skill right now. Her E skill is an insane skill where she leaps forward with her ODM gear and drives by everything in her way. The best thing about this skill is that when you have 30 of her electric energy resource, you do an empowered version doing even more damage and give yourself a damage boost. Maintaining the uptime of this buff will give you maximum damage. And lastly, canceling this ability with your shoot and pressing it again will give her insane DPS potential for big elites and bosses that you want to kill quickly. Also utilize her E and cancel it with the shoot button to slingshot yourself, which is a really good way to get around. But if you have the piercing ascent wedge from the maze shop, you can cancel the E with the charge attack and then fire with your weapon to reach insane speeds, beating piercing ascent alone and just getting around the map super fast. Her Q skill is an insane ability that zaps enemies around her at higher introns. It absolutely gives her the most AoE damage potential in the game. After Intron 2, you can press Q and grab a Diet Coke, come back, your wave will be done.
I can't stop here. I have to keep fighting.
Alright, that should be enough to teach him a lesson. Let's wrap this up and head back for our
I'm gonna get a bit nerdy with it. Her Q applies an electro charge on an enemy. It can be either positive or negative, and the initial damage of this, which is already a lot of damage. And it has a damage over a time effect. But when two enemies of opposite polarities within range, which is about the range of a boxy, by the way, 20 meters, they collide, and this effect does triple the damage about. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Currently, I have 3 builds I like to use on Rhythm. One is a solo focus build of combat AI. Next one is a multiplayer focus build for chase. And lastly, I have a weapon focus build for dealing lots of damage to enemies when I just want to have fun and chill. The first way is focus for solo content. This is for any gameplay where combat AI are used, and I use them to focus on damage, but not too heavily, as I keep a wings inspo elapse. Because she does so much damage already, I would rather have the quality of life of not draining all of my sanity and having to press Q more. But you can also remove it for another morale at the cost of pressing Q more. We are running Midnight Sun for the duration because keeping her buff uptime from her E is very important to me when farming, because that means less times I have to press the E. And Ravaging Thunder, because we want to have our skill damage raised, because her bonuses are crazy high with skill damage. But this wedge also synergizes with her as well, as we get more skill damage every time we use our E, up to 79% extra skill damage. You'll be able to maintain this buff with bossing, as well as we'll be E spamming and canceling it. So we'll be able to hit those E stacks like crazy. It's because every time you get a new stack, sadly, the big thing about it is it does not refresh the duration. So mainly we'll be using this for bossing. And lastly, I run dual because you can just jump and keep the insane damage buff that it provides for completely free. The next build that I have is a multiplayer focused build. Currently, it's just used for chases as it is my favorite game mode to farm on. This build, I basically have unlimited sustain, I do great damage, and I can support my teammates by providing them with serenity. So they have the energy, my allies can use their skills to focus down bosses, while I can just focus down all of the ads and all of these smaller enemies. And it's just a great way to support your teammates because not a lot of the time your teammates are going to have serenity because they're going to be focusing on their damage. So having that multiplayer build, it does help and it makes the game a little bit easier, especially when you're running rhythm and you don't need that much damage.
Quickly. Take me.
With the release of Fina, a weapon focused damage build is possible and are really strong. It's not as competitive as her skill damage build, but if you want to run around and have a hack and slash time, you can do that, and it allows you to experiment with a lot of the weapons in this game. Hopefully they do get buffed, but with the current patch, this is the fun way to use these weapons if you want to have a lot of alternate playstyles. The big thing about this is morale stacking, which Electro characters have a great access to the morale wedge. And you're going to utilize the extra damage bonuses from Fina and from the MC. And also, I have dual on this build so that I can defeat any tanky bosses or enemies and have pretty good clear times and add content as well. Yeah, it's not great, but it's definitely fun. Finally, for the weapons, you want to run the Wainwraith and Express Duo for the most content, as they are the premier skill damage weapons and they're stat 6, allowing you to focus more on morale in your build. And if you want to do bossing, you can use Truffle's Bow, the Arclight, Apocalypse, and the best thing is that you can use its smash damage to topple any boss, and it'll allow you to have really good consistent clears, and you won't have to deal with reloading when you E-cancel. So yeah, see you guys. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
I can't stop. Keep it up. I have to keep fighting.
Demon devils of the red hands coming.
Meaningless struggle.
Together.
Show me what you're made.
Oh, I do not care. We're going back to the old format. Holy, this was so cringe. I'm never doing this again. Bye-bye. Love you guys. Mwah.